Okay, it's time to do a follow-up on this little beast. Beautiful bike, isn't it? See, the saddlebags are now on. They're a slanted bag. They've got the strap over the fender with the seat over the strap. I don't like that. I'm going to be changing that out and putting something a little bit better on. But I do have the tachometer on and working. That's a great addition. And I do have the speedometer working. I showed you that last time. I now have the windshield on. It's a great addition. Having windshield is the difference between riding in the winter and not for this climate. Got new seals, new dust covers, not a leak anywhere. It's just squeaking when I rub, no drips. Got new brake pads. I also had to clean the had to clean the rotor off really good. It's not completely finished and smooth. I don't know, but it's like the saturated brake pads had the propensity to pick up all the dust and crap, and they just chewed that poor rotor apart. It's not down very far. It's only down, I guess, probably 1 or 2 thousandths. So I'm not messing with it. I'm not going to play with it. I'm not going to replace it. The only thing left that I need to do is replace the fan. The fan, I don't want to get too close because I just took a ride, but and it just doesn't want to turn. It's got a problem. So motor's broken. Figure the bearings are shot in it. The new motor is $300. That's highway robbery. I found a VT1100C motor. Remember, this is an 1100. That was $46 plus $8 shipping on eBay. But I can't fit that one on. They're just not quite the right thing. I do have, which will fit this camera I'm holding, this little thing right here has a pull that up, spun right around, but when I get it down just right, and that's pretty hard to lock in. This bolt just to keep it from coming out the other end, but it's on there good and tight now. This, of course, is the lock plate that screws up into the bottom of the camera. It works just nice. This has to be the best. Oh, hello, B. This has to be the best windshield locking mechanism I've ever found. This screws this thing on tight. It's got screws on the bottom that ramp it up to the right place, and then this holds this thing in place. This hex locks down and compresses this pipe over this steel bracket that has a ball and socket right into this point, which is firmly attached to the windshield. Doesn't rattle, doesn't move, doesn't give at all. The bottom one is held on with a pipe clamp, and then a rubberized clip around that knurled bar, and it is just solid as it can be. I'm very pleased with it. Like I say, it doesn't rattle, doesn't move, doesn't give. The one thing that annoys me is that the previous owners broke the cover off, bless their hearts. They didn't take real good care of this bike. They did take good enough care that it hasn't been laid down. Well, it was laid down at one point. Didn't touch the gas tank. Didn't hit the rear, the turn signals. There's no marks on the turn signals front or back. I don't see any marks on here. Don't see any marks on the knobs, but the handlebars are just slightly scawampus. They're not exactly square. And it might be that they replaced the handlebars and the frame's just a touch crooked. I don't know. I can't actually find anything wrong, but I haven't got my micrometer on it and figured it out either. I don't care. It drives straight. It doesn't have any pull or drift. I can take my hands off the handlebars and it goes straight, and that tells me I've got a decent bike. So I do have one project I'm working on, which you can see here. This is a unit that will tell me what gear I'm in. Never had that on a bike. I've always just counted, and I'm sick of counting, so I just have to put my glasses on here before I tell you what I'm looking at. But this point right here, the hardest part of this is going to be to hook it into the neutral switch. We've got light green and red wires, and they go up in here and all over whatever, but the hard part is going to be able to hook into that wire correctly so that when the counter sees that the bike's in neutral, it will mark it right. It's got these two jobbies right here. When the magnet passes next to one, it goes down a gear. You can see it's magnetic sensitive. That will tell it whether it's in first and then up, counting up through 2 through 5. This will actually go up through 8 gears. You can see an 8 in there. Take that off when I've got it all mounted so I don't scratch it beforehand. Gives me the wiring guide and tells me the black wire and the white wire and each of another. The black wire is for negative, the red cable is positive, the white is for neutral, and that's the one that's going to be hardest to fix. I'm going to have to figure out how to connect that on, and I do know where that part of the control is. It is right underneath here, so I'd have to take this cover off. But I'm going to be able to follow it, I'm pretty sure. Take the tank off, and right under here is a wiring block that has 3 different mini couplers, and then a couple single wire couplers, or a couple, 4 or 5. And I'll be able to get to that. But I have to take all the seats off. Can't take the seat off. You have to take the back seat off. You have to undo this 10mm bolt, slide it forward. Then you can take off 2 bolts here that are 11 or 12mm, I forget which. Then you pull the seat off. That's where the air filter is under the seat on this bike. My 85, the air filter was under the tank, and there were 4 pipes connected to the tank. This one, there's 2. There's the one that hooks into the petcock, which is part of the tank, and there's this one, which is that is the aspirator, the air pipe. So it's probably a splash overflow, who knows what. One thing I like is this does have a petcock. I've run into that once since I've owned the bike on purpose to see how far I could go. And then the next day I forgot I'd done it, and I went another 22 miles, which just about ran me out of gas. But I didn't. I went 156 miles on this tank. It's a 4.2 gallon tank. That came up to roughly about, I think about 4.2, about 41 miles per gallon, which isn't very much. Hello, cat. You've been laying in the dirt again. You've got crap hanging off your whiskers. Cat's been through a lot. You see he's blind in one eye. He got sliced open, and hello, cat. It's still running. We're treating it right now. $2,500 to have that eye removed, which is probably our next job. Not going to put that on that'll be on my wife's channel, Busy by Choice. Go look that up, and there's a story about him being lost for quite a while and then being found. Today is the 4th of July, and there's fireworks going off. And there's my truck. It is a 6-cylinder with 8 gears, and it gets 20 miles per gallon. And I average about 17.8 when I'm driving freeway most of the time, which I rarely do because I only work 5 miles from here, and I ride that most of the time. But I think that's all that I have on the update. Once I get the gear changer in, which I don't know when, I was going to start doing it today, but got a fever a little over 100.5. I'm just not feeling well. My wife's been extremely sick. She didn't get to bed all night last night. I was up with her until 4, and we're not doing real well right now. We're a couple old people, so hopefully we can take care of that and get doing a little bit better. But try to ride this every day. Absolutely love riding it. It's a wonderful machine. The pedals are forward, so it doesn't mess with my knees like the 85 did. If you're wondering why this bike is here, this was given to me by my brother. Just about everything on it's broken. The rear brake doesn't work, it's seized. The front brake barely works. The paneling on both sides is there, but it's about to come off. The windshield is orange and disgusting. The handlebars are disgusting and dirty. Seats ripped underneath my motorcycle manual for my 2004 Honda Shadow. Well, I'll tell you what, without this bike, I would be sunk. The actual Honda service manual. Let's see, the seat's all messed up. Get in here, this is just a plastic cover. The tank is a 5.4 or 5.2 gallon tank. Which is pretty good. That bike weighs about 110 pounds more than this bike, and it's got a 5.2 gallon tank versus 4.5. I think I said 4.2 on mine. I think it's 4.5. One thing is the trunk and both saddlebags, their hard sides are removable with a key, and this one the key's right there. Same on the other side. The key to open it is here, the key to remove it is here, and they all match the ignition key, which is kind of cool. But my brother had hip replacements. He can't swing his legs up over this bike. He kept the bike that doesn't have anything on the back. He can swing his legs over that one if he finishes his therapy anyway. He can't right now, but he hasn't been too long. But that has essentially a car's dashboard. This is the Yamaha Venture XVZ12T12, it says on the tank here, but don't know what this is for. I need to download a manual. I think I'm going to try to get everything fixed on this, make sure everything works. Don't know if I'll sell it at that point. It's got everything it needs. It's missing the cap here, but that cap is there. It's got the cap down here for both of these air vents. It's got everything it needs here that you pull actually. Key lock everywhere. There's 3 keyholes here, 1 there. There's 4 back here, and then there's the helmet lock on it. I can't remember where I saw that. Now that I think about it, garbage can's in the way, so I can't. Yeah, here it is. There's the helmet locker, upper thinger. That looks like an aftermarket jobby. I don't know if the key works or not. No, it's not aftermarket. There's a post off of that part of the frame that is holding on. Nice handles here for the passenger. This is a very nice, soft, cushiony backrest. A little bit better than mine on that bike over there, which is fine. My wife likes riding on this one with me. Kind of. She's not a real fan of motorcycles. Don't know if I mentioned it, but it took me 37 years before she agreed to let me get a motorcycle. We've been married 40 now, so I've had this about 3 years. Well, this one and my previous bike. And the story is that when my child got engaged, his fiance bought him a motorcycle. Came to my wife and said, "Mom, I need a riding buddy. Will you let Dad get a motorcycle again?" And she did. So that's my favorite daughter-in-law. Well, I don't know. I have great daughter-in-laws. Anyway, I think that's all I'm going to say. And I will talk to you later. This is This Old Man 1955. Like, subscribe.